Welcome back to the Train to Win YouTube channel. My name is Tate. Today we're going to go over calculating our overall calories when it comes to weight loss and weight gain. Before we dive deep into the details of all the information I have for you today, please consult your doctor or physician when it comes to applying a lot of the knowledge that I'm going to give you today. I am not a dietitian nor am I a nutritionist, so take that with a grain of salt. Again, I have coached plenty of clients and helped guide them when it comes to their diet and nutrition and help them achieve their weight loss and weight gain goals. So a lot of the information here is still valid. So to jump right into it, there are some things that we must understand when it comes to approaching a diet or nutrition plan. So one thing that we must understand is that everybody consumes calories and everybody burns calories throughout the day. Everyone has what we refer to as a caloric balance or an energy balance. And to understand how we can actually measure the amount of calories that we need to consume daily to achieve our fitness goals, we must understand what our maintenance calories are. So the definition of maintenance calories, the easiest way that I can define it is by saying that our maintenance calories is the amount of calories that we must consume to stay the exact same, to maintain the exact same body composition that we are currently walking around with. So how do we find our maintenance calories? The best approach in order to find these is, there's all kinds of different formulas, there's all kinds of approaches that I personally use for my clientele, but for the sake of simplicity, the best way that you can do this at home is by picking a set caloric amount to eat per day. So say you want to consume 2,200 calories a day. Measure that, stay consistent with it for about a week or two. There you should be able to measure the progress using a scale. If you're eating that 2,200 calories and you notice no change in the weight in the scale, you know that you hit it right on the head and that is your maintenance calories. If you notice that the scale goes up, you then over-calculated what your maintenance calories are and you just need to adjust them down a bit. So instead of doing 2,200, you can then do 2,000 and then test it for another 2 weeks and see what our results are there. And then vice versa, if we end up seeing a weight loss effect where we're losing weight on the calories that we had decided to consume, we then need to up them slightly. So say instead of doing our 2,200 calories, we do 2,400 calories, test it for 1 to 2 weeks, and then reassess and see where we're at. So with that being said, we now understand maintenance calories. That's the amount of calories we must consume in order to stay exactly where we're at. In order to see some weight loss, we must be eating in what's referred to as a caloric deficit. So to help understand this, we're going to refer over to my example that I have right here on the board. So I have this green line here representing our maintenance calories. For the sake of this example, we have 2,000 calories a day. That is going to be our maintenance calories. For this set individual, or for this set example, 2,000 calories is the amount that this individual must consume to stay the exact same weight that they currently are, and to maintain the same composition they currently are. In order to see a change in that, to see the weight loss effect, they must consume an amount that is below that, which is going to be about 1,500 to 1,700 calories. When it comes to a deficit, we don't want to go too deep into it because then we could see a negative effect where our metabolism slows down, we'll have a higher chance of rebounding and gaining more weight than we had actually lost in the end. So we have to be very conservative when it comes to our overall caloric deficit. We can't dive too deep into it. Too many individuals think more is better. In this case, little bits go a long way. So when it comes to a caloric deficit, slow progress is going to be more maintainable in the future than taking a big chunk off in a short amount of time. So think long term. This is a marathon, not a sprint. So if you're looking to lose weight, you got to be in it for the long run. You can't be in it for the short term. If you want to have sustainable results, if you want to lose weight and keep it off, take the long-term approach. So caloric deficit, consuming less than our maintenance calories to see the weight loss effect. Now we're going to dive into a caloric surplus. Within a caloric surplus, this is going to be what we need to eat in order to gain weight, to see the scale go up. So this is going to be the opposite of a caloric deficit within a caloric surplus. Again, for the sake of the example, say this individual's maintenance calories again is 2,000 calories. They must eat above that. So for the sake of the example, 2,300 calories to 2,500 calories is the amount this individual eats daily to see weight gain. Again, for weight gain, more is not better. Typically, if we're eating at about a 20% deficit or a 20% surplus, we'll still see really effective results. So when it comes to a surplus, if we try to eat a huge amount, that doesn't necessarily mean more muscle gain. You'll actually gain a good amount of fat along with that. So we want to be fairly conservative with the amount that we consume when it comes to a surplus as well. So again, we're in it for the long haul. We're not in it for the short term. So if you're looking to see a quick 20-pound gain, as opposed to thinking 20 pounds in 3 months, think of 20 pounds in the time span of a year to a year and a half, or even 2 years, say. So there's all kinds of different variables that play a role in that. But again, think long term, not short term when it comes to our dieting. So to get more detailed with it, in order to understand what we need to consume to make up those calories when it comes to food, we must understand macronutrients. We must know what macros are. When it comes to our macros, we have 3 main macronutrients. It's going to be our protein, fats, and carbohydrates. One thing that I feel is especially needed to be noted is our alcohol. Alcohol actually is consisting of calories as well, which not many people know. So, big one, protein. If we're working out in the gym and trying to see results within the gym, our protein intake needs to be on point. That way we can adhere to our programming the best we can. So when it comes to protein, especially for athletes, we need to be about 1.4 to 1.8 grams per kilogram, or to keep it in real basic terms, about a gram per pound is going to get you more than enough. If we're doing about a gram per pound, we'll be in excess of the amount of protein that we need. And if we're in excess of the amount of protein we need, we're not necessarily going to store that excess as potential energy or as fat. We're pretty much going to process it out anytime that we're using the restroom. So an excess amount of protein isn't necessarily a negative thing. Again, it needs to be in moderation, but about a gram per pound will put you in that safe zone. When it comes to our fat intake and carbohydrate intake, typically this can be whatever you adhere to the best when it comes to a diet. It's something that you have to be able to follow daily, and a lot of individuals would prefer a higher fat content diet as opposed to a carb diet, or vice versa. Some would prefer their carbohydrates versus their fats. So whatever you prefer the most, you can then calculate within your macronutrients. So say, again, for the sake of the example, we find that our maintenance calories is 2,000 calories, and we want to maintain where we currently at, or where we currently are. We then calculate our protein using the information that I gave you, and say our remaining calories comes out to about 1,500 calories, say. We can then, divide it 50-50, where we have 750 calories going to our fat and 750 calories going to our carbs. So how do we calculate that? Fats are 9 calories per gram, so we do 750 divided by 9. That gives us the amount of fat we need to consume in grams. And then same thing, 750 divided by 4 calories gives us the amount of carbohydrates we need to consume. So again, we have to have a healthy balance of the two. They're both extremely important. Fats will help when it comes to the overall hormonal balance within our body, as well as helping provide a little bit of energy throughout the day. And then carbohydrates are the prime user when it comes to energy, when it comes to our glycogen, which helps our overall brain function, muscular function, nervous system function, how we train in the gym, all that good stuff. So these are very important. We don't want to be too scarce on one versus the other. We still want to have a fairly solid balance, but if you enjoy more fat foods versus carbs, feel free to eat more fat foods, or vice versa with carbohydrates. So one thing to touch on slightly is our alcohol. If you are consuming alcohol, 7 calories per gram. If you did want to have alcohol within your diet, just replace the grams of alcohol or the calories from alcohol and take them away from your carbohydrates, and you will still be able to see the results you are looking for. The content that comes with these calories, food-wise, isn't necessarily important when it comes to weight loss and weight gain. The content of food that you do consume is extremely important when it comes to your health and well-being. And again, that's why I say consult your physician or your doctor when it comes to starting some sort of nutrition plan. They'll be able to tell you what type of nutrients you need for your body, because everyone's different. But just for the sake of weight loss and weight gain, the quality of foods that we are consuming isn't necessarily important. The biggest thing that matters is the overall moderation of calories we're consuming, having the measured approach. So if we're in a caloric deficit, whatever consumes those calories, whether it's coming from ice cream, whether it's coming from cereal, whether it's coming from chicken, rice, broccoli, whatever it is, you'll still see the same results as long as you're consuming the right numbers you need to be consuming when it comes to the calorie content. Again, I'm not advising to eat super unhealthy foods, but you can still have those little guilty pleasures every now and then and see the results you are looking for. So this was just a real basic summary in regards to dieting and nutrition, more specifically on weight loss and weight gain. If you guys would like more detailed videos in the future when it comes to nutrition, please comment below. Let us know what you would like to see, and we would totally create more detailed versions of this, or reach out to some more educated individuals to help bring out more content about this information. But again, this was a real basic summary in regards to losing weight, gaining weight, all the basics there. So stay tuned for future videos. This was a brief break from our Basics of Programming series that we're working on. Figured, veer off track a little bit, dive into some different information, then pick right back up where we left off in further weeks of videos. Again, this has been Tate with Train to Win. Thank you for watching.